My name is ONNE Renée. I spell that all uppercase letters, D exclamation mark O-N-N-E, and my last name, Renée, is capital R, and then lowercase, E-N-E with an accent aigu E. So it's ONNE Renée, and I'm running for mayor of the city of Toronto. I'm running for mayor for a number of reasons, but the first thing is because we're tired of the same old, same old. What I want to be able to do is to make sure that all citizens in Toronto live and thrive. Now, I'm running to be the chief public servant of the city of Toronto. That is, again, key, because public servants are there to serve. We're there to serve the people. We're there to serve and meet the needs of the individuals. Well, as a creative person, certainly as a creative person, we all have the ability to see things a little bit differently than the world sees things, because we are creative. That's how we were made. And everybody in themselves is made in a unique way to always be able to contribute back to society. So I see things all the time. And even while traveling on the bus, I am seeing things. I see buildings that we can renovate and we can make that housing, and oh, that would be a great artist enclave. I see these things. When people are entering onto the transit system and the difficulties that they face getting on and off, I see those things, and in fact, I write into the city, right? So being a creative person, we think of needs and how to address them. You know, usually as an artist, if you're a performer, you want your audience to be engaged with you and to get what you're trying to present to them. Well, that's the same thing as a person who's running for mayor. I see things, I want people to get it, which is why I speak in plain language. I'm not giving all these percentages and numbers and all these things that these people tend to do, thinking that that makes them sound better. Listen, we've got great statisticians and great ergonomists and all kinds of people out there already employed by the city of Toronto who have these specialties that can do the things that I cannot do. But the thing that I do best, or I believe I do best, and what people tell me, is that I'm creative. I have these innovative ideas that actually are practical. People keep referring to polls all the time for whatever excuses that they make to justify their position. So for example, I keep getting kicked out of a lot of debates. In fact, I was kicked out of 3 debates. I was kicked out of the Film Ontario debate, which is crazy because I've been a part of the film Ontario industry forever, right? I've been in the arts forever. Let's say more than 30 years. Let's keep that down a little bit. I'm still young, don't get me wrong. But the reality is that I've been a part of the community for a long time. And yet, why aren't they allowing my voice to be heard at that debate? I'd be the best person to bring something to the table on this matter because I'm an industry insider. I know what the needs are. I know what's lacking. I know that some of the funding that has been diminished. But yet they don't want to hear from me. Why? Because that debate is set up for a particular candidate. I was kicked out of the arts vote debate. Also another arts initiated debate, and it's again, mayoral debate. I am a viable mayoral candidate in this race. My name is on the ballot. I'm number 41 on the ballot. It's the only name on the ballot with an exclamation mark. So the point is I'm there, I'm viable, and yet this is my community that's still excluding me. Why? That's the question I want to ask. So they say, and everybody keeps using the excuse, is, oh, it's because the polls say. I said, well, what poll are you referring to? And not once has anybody cited the poll that they're referring to. They just used the blanket statement of saying the polls say. I said, well, whose polls are you referring to? Have the polls included me in those numbers? Because quite frankly, how can a poll be fair if it's not including all the names of the candidates, the 65 candidates listed, to see what really is the margin of error and what is correct? When we all say, pfft, that's what I would say. Pfft. Can you spell that?
Yeah.
Okay, great, great. Common sense is not so common in government, and that's the shame, right?
Yeah.
That the obvious, that is so obvious, is still not obvious to the government? Come on. The public all knows. And that's why people say to me all the time, well, what party are you with? I said, what do you mean? And I say the same thing. I say, municipal government is supposed to be nonpartisan, and regardless, I am not of any party. I am of the people. I am from the people, of the people, and for the people. And we all know that they're not. We already know that Olivia Chow is NDP, so don't try to pretend. We already know that John Tory is conservative, so don't try to pretend. We know that these people are part of these parties and it's entrenched. And a lot of these debates are prearranged. They give the people questions in advance so their research team and their war rooms can prepare these answers. Who wants any of this falsity? Let's be real. If you watch the debates that I'm participating in, I can tell you that the first debate I participated in, I just got in 5 minutes before. So I wasn't aware of all the questions that these people had in advance. I'm answering from my heart because these issues are real issues already on my mind. And any debate for that matter, yes, research is important and I don't want to discount that. But when it's research that your whole team does and you're just reading an answer that somebody said to you and it sounds like you're just reading and you're just saying the answer is this answer, it says to me you're not really engaged with what's going on for the public. You're disengaged. And it's a different level of disengaged that the public has towards politics. It's that you're in politics and you're disengaged from the people. Elections, municipal elections in Toronto are supposed to be non-partisan. Why is that? So that they benefit the people, not a party. So anytime any politician who's been in government forever, who stands with a party, they come to your door and they knock on your door, you take out your recording, you take your phone and you get it ready and you ask them this question. I'm saying to all the students at York, you ask them this question. If elected, are you representing the voice of the people or the voice of your party? And wait for them to answer. Yeah, how does it make me feel? Well, first of all, as I've mentioned before, I'm all about inclusivity. I'm actually offended when people use the words fringe, longshot, or any of these other terms, because these are marginalizing terms used by the 2% to, again, put them in a position of superiority or dominance. I'm not fringe. I'm about truth, fact, and getting stuff done. I'm fearless. I'm the shot that Toronto has to actually make a change in people's lives. I am the shot that Toronto has to position all citizens for success. I am the shot, not a long shot. I am the shot for ensuring that we create a city wherein we all can live and thrive, that our arts communities, our cultural communities, our ethnic communities, are gay and lesbian, transgender, queer, bisexual. And the reason why I say that, because some people don't know what the acronym stands for. I want people to know what the acronym stands for. I want people to recognize that they are loved and that they can live and thrive in this city. So that's what I think about fringe. I'm offended. It's just the same way I'm offended when some of these organizers that I fight my way to get into these debates tell me, oh, you know, John, sorry, we've already decided on the candidates based on the polls, what I said earlier, but you're welcome to come and sit in the audience. What are you saying? Why would I sit and observe rhetoric? This is nonsense to me. And I always tell them, I'm offended you even suggested that. Does that make any sense that I'm a mayoral candidate fighting for the rights of Torontonians and then be willing to sit in the audience and go, I'll listen to rhetoric. Oh, yay, this sounds wonderful. The greatest expense that the City of Toronto has is the police budget. That's the greatest expense. Now, when you look at the pie shape that they give you, because they don't give you all the information, right? You've got to really dig for it. The pie shape shows police services and ambulance services and all the emergency services together. But when you look at it as a defined, distinct expense, the police budget is the greatest expense that the City of Toronto has. And within the police budget, setting aside the police wages, so the employment, the other greatest expense that the City of Toronto has is lawsuits within the police budgets. That's what I'm talking about, specific to the police budget. And can you imagine how crazy that is, that citizens of Toronto are paying for the defense of police officers who may have been party to causing a problem, an assault or whatnot, because that's usually what it is. It's when the police assault people that there's a lawsuit, and that we are paying for it. So for example, if you got assaulted by a police officer, taking that police officer to court, you're paying for his defense. You're paying for his defense in the litigation that you may have against him. These are crazy notions to me. People are fearful of the police. That's a big thing. And how is it that we're fearful of an organization that says that they're there to serve and protect? How is that possible? Because something is wrong. And that something that is wrong needs to be addressed. And believe you me, a little Canadian saying there, we're about to address it. Students are talking to me about tuition when I visit the various campuses, and they're saying, well, this is a concern. We always say that we want it to be less. And I say, well, the reality is that governments have not backed students for the education that they take the time to go to school and get informed. We keep telling everybody education is the most important thing. Okay, great. So students are saying, cool, education is the most important thing, we'll go to school. But yet have such great debt coming out of education and have such burden, mental health stress as a result of the burden and the overload. Work and employment comes from our entrepreneurs, people who are running businesses. So students who are that minded, who want to run a business, we're going to create an avenue that allows you to be supported in those attempts and also promoted. And we as a city can do that, but right now we're not doing that because we're not recognizing our assets, both our people assets and our property assets. So I say let's capitalize on all of our assets. Again, why? So all people can live and thrive in the city of Toronto. Without mental health, you have no health. There are already many social agencies in the City of Toronto doing work towards mental health. Mental health. And I want to distinguish that mental health is not limited to pathology. Oftentimes people think mental health is about a diagnosis. It's that and just simply wellness. You think about the ability to be able to travel from A to B and get somewhere on time. And then you think about the ability to try to travel A to B and not get somewhere on time, and it causes you stress because you think, oh no, I'm going to be late for work, oh no, I'm going to be late for class, oh no, I'm going to miss my exam. This is anxiety and stress, and we're trying to reduce this across the board. This is what I'm talking about mental health, the whole spectrum of mental health, to make sure, again, to live and thrive in the city. So all of these things are very specific to students. There's a very strong burden that students bear right now, thinking about their future and whether they're going to get certain grades and what their future is going to be and whether they're going to be able to afford and live in the city. But I'm saying, as mayor, we're going to work together to ensure that you can live and thrive in the city and that this city is affordable to you.